Why so many experienced professionals struggle to build a business online? Why it is so hard for them to succeed online? So today we will go through a smarter approach to monetizing your expertise. This is based on my first money framework. So what we will go through today is that why conventional online business advice often doesn't fit experienced professionals. We will go through a structured approach to test whether your expertise has real market demand or not. And I will go through how to take your first steps without major risk or quitting your day job. Now, this is not what a typical advice looks like. This is a bit different. Does this sound familiar to you? You have like 15 to 25 years of real professional experience. You have been working in some area or some field and you feel like you have expertise in your field. You have explored courses, coaching programs, maybe too many, and you have tried building an audience on social media. You have tried to build an audience in TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and it still doesn't work well. And you know that you have something valuable to offer to the marketplace. But turning it into online income has not clicked yet. If this sounds familiar to you, keep on listening because I will provide you an interesting and well-working solution. So there's a gap between experienced people and so many especially with younger people. Now you see experienced people building online, you see less experienced people building online businesses. You feel like many people who succeed online, they are much less experienced than you, and it might be true. You have much more experience, more credibility, and more real world results. You have been working in real world with clients and you feel like you are a real expert. Now the gap is not in your talent or effort. It might be the approach that you are using. So the common approach is many professionals try today. They start building a social media following from the scratch. They think that they need millions of followers in Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and so on. So they try to start building following in social media. They start creating content and hoping for traction. They start investing in online courses and programs, and they start following advice designed for a very different audience. And they try launching a low ticket offer without validating demand, which means that they basically build a product and try to sell it without having any idea if there's actual demand for that product on the marketplace. So most of these take significant time before showing any measurable results. Why popular advice may not fit you? Much of the popular advice is designed for people who have lots of free time. Basically, they are able to work full day with their business. And in your case, it is most likely that you need to do your day job and then try to build your business as a side kick at nights and weekends. And the popular advice is also designed for people who have low financial responsibilities, which allows them to experiment without immediate returns, which means they have low expenses, and that means that they don't have to generate income as fast as some other people like you. You might need to generate sales much faster and with profit, and you cannot wait months and sometimes years to make actual income. And then the advice is also many times designed for people with comfort with public experimentation. So they are willing to share failures openly for months. So if that is not your situation, you may need a bit different approach, and I will provide you that in a minute. So there are two different approaches: audience first approach and validation first approach. So the audience first approach is that you build following over time in social media, you create content consistently, you monetize once you have reach, once you have followers, and you have longer feedback loop from the market and lower upfront costs. Now, validation first approach means that you test first if people are willing to pay you any money. You test first. Then you start with the simple offer, very simple, typically a service offer. You use small ad budget to find interest in the marketplace. This means that you run advertising. You find potential clients with advertising. You have much shorter feedback loop, and all the decisions are based on real data, not hoping and guessing. So the common pattern that slows people down is that with in the typical order, they come up with an idea, they build a product, create brand and website, grow an audience, and then try to sell. Does this sound familiar to you? This is a very common approach. It's basically like an old school approach. Now, an alternative that often works better is that you identify a real problem on the marketplace. You first identify a real problem people have in the marketplace. You create a small test offer, usually a service offer, and then you see if people are interested and willing to pay. You want to see if they are interested and willing to pay. Then you improve your product based on feedback, and then you build bigger. This is an alternative approach that often works much better. So test before you build big and learn before you invest heavily. Before we look at the framework, let's examine why some popular advice may not be the best fit for experienced professionals. So the first challenge that we have is the very common follow your passion advice. Do what you love and the money will follow. You probably have heard this many times. The challenge here is that passion doesn't always align with what people are willing to pay for. Your enthusiasm is important, but it needs to meet a real market need. So a better starting point is that find where your skills and experience meet a genuine problem in the market. This is much better starting point. So the next one is that build your product first. Popular advice is that you need a complete product before you can start selling. How can you sell something if you don't have it? This is the common approach. The challenge here is that investing months of work without market feedback increases the risk of building something nobody ever wants. So you're basically losing time, wasting time. A better starting point is that you test demand with something simple before committing to a larger build. You want to find out in few weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if people are willing to pay you. And the third challenge is that you need to look professional before anyone will buy. You need to build your brand and website and logo and everything. You need to look professional. Well, the challenge again is that you spend weeks on design, colors and fonts without a single customer conversation or any revenue. So basically you are spending time with things that don't pay you anything. So a better starting point is that you start conversations with potential customers first, and then you can build a brand later. You don't actually need even a website to make your first sales. All you need in the beginning is email and a bank account. Email to contact people, and a bank account to receive payments from the customers. So basically you can sell your service without any website if you want. It's really the simplest approach. Now the next one is that you need to grow audience first. And this is based on idea of getting free customers, basically free marketing. So you build following online in social media, and then you start promoting your products, people come and buy, so basically you advertise completely for free. Just post content consistently. The challenge here is that organic growth takes significant time and consistency. For many professionals, a small ad budget can provide much faster market signals. So you need to spend a lot of time building the following. It basically means months and sometimes years. And you need to post a lot of content, and even then there's no guarantee that somebody will buy. So you may easily lose like 1 or 2 years in your life building something that provides you followers, like 200,000 followers, but then when you start selling something, nobody buys because it's not a good product for that market. Now, a much better starting point is that consider small, controlled ad spend to test interest before investing months in content. So the First Money framework is a structured approach to testing and building online income from your professional expertise. And this is designed for experienced professionals who want to move forward methodically. There are 6 important phases in this framework. So the first one is that you need to find a problem in the marketplace. You use AI tools to research real market needs, and you find a problem that the market has. Then you come up with a solution to that problem. Basically, you build your offer, and it means that you define who you help and how you help. Third one is that you build a simple test service. So based on the problem and your solution, you build a service product, something that can be delivered quickly and it doesn't really take too much of your time. Then you start testing the market. You run advertising with small budget to find out if anyone is willing to buy your service. Once you get data, you refine the product based on real feedback from the customers, and then in the last phase you build a systematic growth. So basically you build your sales engine that has certain components that enable your growth. It all starts from finding the burning problem. So you need to use AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and other chat tools to find a burning problem that the market has. A burning problem that the market has. And after that, you build your product. It all starts from finding the problem first. So a business idea is in your head, or the product idea is in your head, but the problem is in the market. The market pays for solving the problems, not for ideas. The market pays for solving the problems, not for your ideas. So instead of thinking, what product should I create, you should rather think, what problem keeps coming up in the marketplace? What problem keeps coming up in the marketplace? There are 3 criteria for a right problem. First of all, the problem must be something that you have some sort of experience or skills. You don't need to be world-class expert, just 1 or 2 steps ahead of your audience. But basically, you understand about the problem and you understand about the solution to that problem. Next, you need to find data with AI and market data. So basically, ChatGPT and Claude can find real problems from the marketplace and provide you with systematic presentation of the data. And then the third one is the reachability. So you need to be able to find these customers with advertising. So if you cannot find customers with advertising, how are you going to find these people? So basically, there are no other options for real businesses than advertising. So you need to be able to find these people with advertising. Now, how AI will help you find the real problem? AI can analyze sources like Reddit discussions, Facebook groups, forum threads, YouTube comments, and so on. What you discover with AI are the pain points people mention repeatedly, exact language they use to describe problems, what they are already willing to pay for, and gaps that competitors miss. So this is valuable data that is very hard to find manually. But AI tools like ChatGPT, research tool, can find this data in minutes. In the second phase, you come up with an offer and test product, which is basically a simple service to test if the market is interested. The test product is not a massive online course. It's not months of video recording. It's not 200 lessons and so on. It's nothing complicated technically and so on. The test product, it can be simply like one-to-one consultation or coaching, or it can be like a clear service package or done-for-you solution, and it can be delivered in 1 or 2 weeks, for example. The goal here is to learn, not scale. Does anyone actually want this service? Is there anybody who wants to buy my service? In the next phase, here are some examples of the test product. It can be like 60-minute consultation plus action plan. It can be 4 weeks sparring, one-to-one. It can be done-for-you package, or it can be I help you with a certain thing. Something simple and easy and quick to deliver from your side. How about the pricing? You should not start with high prices, but not even, not how can I say that best? You should not start with high prices, and you should not start with low prices, and especially not with free services. But affordable price makes sense. The goal here is not to maximize revenue. It is to learn from the marketplace. Is there genuine interest in your solution? What kind of customers does this attract? And what feedback do they give you? So one paying customer teaches you much more than months of planning. So when it comes to pricing, I would say few €100 up to 1,000 could be like reasonable for small, quick service product. People don't pay for information, they pay for transformation. So when you build your test product, don't come up with something like I teach project management. Come up with something much more transformation approach. I help new managers deliver their first project on time and under budget. This is much more about the transformation than information. Why not a big product first? Why not building your online course or coaching program? Building something big requires significant time investment. there's a risk of building something what nobody wants. There's no feedback until launch, and it's difficult to pivot. Testing first approach means that you get quick feedback from the market, you have low initial investment, your decisions are based on real data, and it is easy to adjust and pivot. In the next phase, you want to get signal from the market. So you run advertising with small budget to get feedback from the market. So how does this process actually work? You run advertising in Google, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and so on. It creates awareness on the marketplace. Then when people click your advertising, you start building connection with people. They do something that provides you their email address or phone number or something like that. Then it allows you to start conversation. So you can send them email, you can call them, and you can send WhatsApp messages, whatever is the best solution in your case. But basically, it allows you to start conversation. And then you build relationship and deepen your trust with the prospect. And finally, you provide the natural next step, which is selling your test product. It is important to understand that you don't want to run advertising in a lazy way where somebody clicks your ad, goes to your landing page and buys something. That usually doesn't work so well. Much better approach in selling expert services and consulting and coaching and so on, it is that you run advertising, you get email address, phone number, WhatsApp messages from the prospect, and you start conversation, you build relationship, and then you offer your product. Why this works better? Because buying decision is based on trust. People buy from other people when they trust the seller. So you want to build the trust first. So it makes sense to get connection, start conversation, build relationship, and then offer your test product that is like, let's say like 800 euros in price. So this is testing. This is not scaling. Many people talk about scaling and so many of us have seen so many videos and posts about scaling to millions in a matter of weeks and so on. That is not typical. So in this phase, you want to test, not scale yet. You are looking for signals from the marketplace, and the signals are like, does anyone respond to your message? Are the right people showing interest, and what questions do they ask? If somebody responds to your ad, you may be on the right track. If nobody responds, you need to adjust the angle or the offer, and that's valuable learning too, valuable information too. There's also the warm outreach method. If you have existing network of your old customers or colleagues and so on, you might have like an old email list that you can contact. You can have LinkedIn connections, professional contacts, and friends, and so on. You basically can use old contacts to test the market. You start conversations with these people, ask about their challenges, listen carefully, and offer to help. This is warm outreach method. In the fifth phase, you want to build your refined product. At this phase, you have sold your test product already, like let's say like 15 customers, 10 customers. Now you have feedback, real customer feedback from the marketplace, not guesses. Now it is time to build your premium product. So the more comprehensive product can be based on what customers actually told you they need. And it can be an online course or training program. It can be group coaching package. It can be premium consulting offer. It can also be done for you service at premium pricing. So in this phase, you actually know what they want and need because they have told you and they have showed you what they want and need with their actions. Finally, you build the repeatable process. So it is a systematic approach for getting new leads and new customers every single day. So there are certain components in this kind of sales machine. It all starts from traffic. You need to run advertising. Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, and so on. You bring the right people to your message with paid advertising. But then you want to qualify. You don't want to discuss with every single person because not every single person is a good customer for you. You want to qualify the right people to continue with your sales process. Then you nurture these people. You build trust over time, which means basically, in most cases, automated email sequences, automated email messages that provide valuable information and basically nurture these people. And then you engage and you invite them to deeper conversations, like let's say like a webinar. Finally, you sell them the premium product, the high price product. So this is the sales machine that you need in the end of this process. Without this sales machine, your sales are unpredictable and they come in peaks. Sometimes you sell, sometimes you don't, and it's super stressful and it cannot scale to much higher figures. So this takes time and iteration to build effectively. So you need to start building this only after you have validated the demand and you have sold your test product to the marketplace. Why this kind of systematic approach matters? Without a system like this, you have unpredictable results. You are always looking for the next customer, and it's very difficult to plan ahead. With a system like this, you have more predictable lead flow and customer flow. You have ability to focus on delivery, and you have steady, measurable growth. It is a totally different world compared to the world without a sales system. So after completing this framework, you have a tested offer based on real market feedback. You have clear understanding of your ideal customer. You have a process for finding and engaging potential customers. You have real data to guide your next steps, and you have clarity on whether to continue, pivot, or adjust. You are no longer guessing, you have direction and data. I feel like, based on my 15 years of experience, this can take about 5 to 6 weeks to build. And the timelines vary based on your industry, your availability, and your market. But basically, in the first 2 weeks, you research the market, you come up with the offer, and you start running initial testing. And in the third and fourth week, you get your first conversations with potential clients, you get feedback from the marketplace, and then in the weeks 5 and 6 you refine your offer, begin your systematic outreach. These are just suggested timeframes. Your pace will depend on your specific situation and availability. There are basically 2 paths forward: without the structure and with this framework. Without the structure, you are spending time without clear direction. You are building without feedback and hoping something works. But with this framework, each step builds on real data. You learn before you invest big, and all your decisions are based on market signals. The framework gives you a systematic way to test, learn, and build. So let's recap. There are 6 phases in this process. It all starts from finding a burning problem and the audience, creating your offer, building a simple test service, getting the market signals, building refined product, and building repeatable process, which is your sales machine. So test before you build, learn before you invest, always. Why I built this framework? I have spent over 15 years helping professionals build and grow their online income. I have worked with thousands of professionals across different industries and countries, and this framework is based on patterns I have consistently seen working. Now, I have created the First Money Framework PDF for you, and it's completely free for you. So, if you would like to explore this further and understand more and start implementing in your business, I provide you completely free guide, which includes a detailed walkthrough of each phase, practical templates and exercises, common mistakes and how to avoid them, and tools to validate your idea quickly. And it's completely free. You can find it in the description box below. There's a link. Click that link and then it goes to your to the download page. See you next time. Ciao.